afternoon, everybody. Thank you for all sitting down. Apologies for the local MP's voice. Just want to start by saying that it's a real honour and a real privilege to be here this afternoon to share in what has finally become the new Bargo Rural Fire Brigade station. I acknowledge that this ceremony is being held on Aboriginal land and recognise the strength, resilience and capacity of Aboriginal peoples in this land. I also acknowledge that you have plenty of dignitaries who have come along this afternoon to join us. Jai Roll, our State Member for Wallandilly, representing the Honourable Troy Grant, MP, Minister of Emergency Services. Welcome again, Jai. Senior Assistant Commissioner Bruce McDonald, AFSM, representing Commissioner Shane Fitzsimmons, AFSM. Thanks, Bruce. Councillor Judith Hannon, the Mayor of Wallandilly Council. Thank you, Judith, for coming along. Councillors Briggs, Gould and Khan, the Deputy Mayor. They're up there. Thank you very much for coming along. The Honourable Angus Taylor, MP, Federal Member for Hume, Minister for Law Enforcement and Cyber Security. Welcome again. Mr Luke Johnson, General Manager of Wallandilly Council. Thanks, Luke. We've got Sandra Smith, is the Property Officer, here for Mr Michael Malone, the Director of Infrastructure and Environment. Welcome, Sandra. An apology from Chief Superintendent Jason McKellar. He's the Regional Manager for Region East. He's had to duck off to represent the Commissioner up at Hornsby, who is stuck where, Bruce? Mildura. Representatives from the other agencies who have joined us. Our chaplain is here as well. Thank you, Rob, for coming along. Group officers, brigade officers, service members, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for joining us today to share in what is a special day for not only the Bargo Brigade, the Southern Highlands team, but for the Bargo community. We've now got a great facility for which the brigade will no doubt grow and their operational capacity will be extended because of it. A lot of people to thank for making this happen. It doesn't all happen overnight. It's taken a long time, a lot of planning, a lot of negotiation, a lot of construction, development, work, you name it, it's been done. And to acknowledge that, I'd like to welcome Mr Jai Roll to the study. Thanks.
Well, g'day everybody. It's great to be here, and I will make some acknowledgements. Thank you to Senior Assistant Commissioner Bruce McDonald, AFSM. As I said at the earlier one today, we go dancing around all of these quite a bit, and it's always great to show to our local community. Councillor and Mayor of Wallandilly Shire Council, Judy Hannon, thank you, Judy. Deputy Mayor Robert Kahn and Councillors Blair Briggs, Matt Gould. The Honourable Angus Taylor, g'day Angus. Mike Pamola, Project Lead of Council, sorry I've just jumped a little bit. Mr Luke Johnson, our General Manager. Chief Superintendent Jason McKellar, I understand he's away now. Super Martin Surrey. That's what you wrote. I do want to place my thanks on the record for all the work that you do in our broader community, both here in Wallandilly and Southern Highlands, and how much that means to me. Thank you. Raylan Lionheart, who's the go-between of everywhere. We've met a couple of times today. Brigade Captain Greg, where's Greg? There he is. Brigade President Brian Tinsley, Brigade Life members, and I know that there's many of you that have travelled far and wide. Seniors, and I won't name everybody because I'll be here all day, but David Murphy, old man Norm Sherry. Is Norm here? What's you looking old, mate? No, only joking. Trevor Thompson, Gary Bunkin, brigade officers and service members, which is the reason why we're all here, and ladies and gentlemen. I think it's absolutely fantastic the level of service that Rural Fire Service Brigaders give to our local community. And I just for the public, I just want to mention some of the campaigns that they've done, not just in our local area, and we know the work that they do in our local area, but they've attended outside and helped the state and the country in the 2009 Victoria Bright Fires, the 2012 Hay Floods, the 2013 Hall Road at Balmoral, where Bargo was pretty much the staging for all of that. Kangaroo Island, South Australia, 2013 they were in Kemps Creek. Londonderry, Bathurst in 2014, Derry in 2014 in South Australia, 2014 Cooma, 2014 Liverpool Bankstown Storm, 2016 the Picton Storm as well, 2017 Mudgee, 2017 Coonabarra Brand, and the list goes on, and I could literally go on and on. That's what this brigade does. It is a family. We heard earlier today that brigades are a family, and we thank all the families that allow their loved ones to come and volunteer. This particular shed, how great is this? This is bloody awesome. I remember this is one of the first issues that came across my desk when I first got elected in 2011. And we had some meetings in 2012 and 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and now here in 18, and we're here today. It's been a long journey, and I just want to thank each and every one that's been here, part of that journey. Of course, it's a partnership with Brigade and the state government that's putting over $1 million. The local council that's put over plus $400,000 in it as well. And what impresses me is that this brigade has chipped in its own money with $50,000, and no doubt a lot of other stuff goes along the way. So I think we should all give the guys a round of applause for that. And to me, that $50,000 is worth a lot more than anything that the state government or anybody else could give, because that's these guys who volunteer their time backing themselves and backing this community. So on behalf of a grateful community, I want to say thank you to each and every brigader. It really means a lot. I know a lot of you are here. I know that there's past captains here as well. I could start mentioning all the names, but I won't, because I'll be here for hours. But community is what it's all about, and I do want to just pay tribute just quickly to somebody who has made a contribution to this brigade. They're not a member of this brigade, but they've certainly made a contribution to this. I know there's lots of people, and we could list a lot, but today I just want to call former Councillor Ray Law up here for a moment. Come up here, mate. I know you're not expecting it, so sorry, mate. Ray was very much, is very much a friend of this local brigade, and was very much part of the lobbying of me and others to help get this. And there's a couple of things, but a certificate of recognition for myself, to you, and also, and I'll have the real one come to you shortly, but this is what it will look like. A community service award on behalf of the New South Wales government. So, Ray spent a lot of time beating me up. At one point I thought he paid my guts. So, but no, thank you, Ray, for all the work. If you want to maybe say a couple of words.
Thanks, Josh. Not often stuck for words, as most of you would be aware, but I'm a little bit blown away. Look, it's been an absolute privilege to be involved, especially with you, the volunteers of the brigade. It's been a long, hard fight, and I must confess that for, I think, 5 years that I was actually a councillor, it became an embarrassment to me to front your AGMs apologetically and humbly and say, I'm sorry, it's still not happening. You were most gracious, you didn't beat me up too much, and I'm very grateful for that. But I'm reminded somewhat of a story, a fairy tale I heard when I was a child. It concerns a mother hen and her chicks scratching around in a farmyard, and they found an ear of wheat from which the grains hadn't been separated. And so the mother hen called all the farmyard animals together and said, I found this ear of wheat. Perhaps we could plant it and increase it and make it something worthwhile. And all the farmyard animals tried that notion. You can't do this, they said. For all we know, the ground might be contaminated. And the mother hen did a bit of research, checked a few things out, discovered it wasn't. She said, never mind, I'll do it myself, I with my chicks, and she planted the wheat. The wheat eventually sprouted and it grew into quite a healthy crop. And she said, who will help me harvest the wheat? And the animals said, oh, don't know if you can go in there, you better check to see it's not native title. And so she spent $14 and got a certificate title from the Lands Title Registration Board, checked out with the Native Lands Tribunal, found out it wasn't. She harvested the wheat. She took it into the threshing floor where she might separate the grain and make the flour to make some bread. And she asked again for help, and this time though she was told, oh, I don't know, it looks like it could get wet in the flood. And so she scratched the drain around the shed and she harvested and she processed the wheat, she made flour, she baked bread, put it in the oven. Ultimately, all the farmyard animals came around, eager to share the birds. She said, who will help me eat the bread? And they all said, we will, it's a great community event. And she said, no, you won't, I'll eat it myself, I'll only want chicks. The mother hen, of course, is you, the brigade members. You have fought so hard. You have been resilient in the face of much opposition to get this shed. The chicks, your community, who has stood behind you, and I am so proud of Bargo, so proud to live here, so proud to support farm animals. I'll leave you to sort that one out for yourself. I can only say...
You call me a pig.
You better order here we go, I'm not saying anything. I can only wonder at how hurt you must have been when you realised that a certain officer, council officer, had been told not once, not twice, but 3 times by the then Transport Minister, who's now the Premier, to contact a certain person in John Holland Rail to facilitate the sale of the land. And that person refused to do so and went about their own agenda. But that, of course, was nothing compared to the insult when a council report appeared which said the land must be sourced at little or no cost. And I wondered what that told you about your service and your sacrifice and the recognition of that. It was some years ago that a former minister, who now fortunately isn't in the job, made the comment that with the technical advances within RFS that soon Dad's army of volunteers wouldn't be needed. That minister, as I said, has now disappeared somewhat into obscurity, which is a good thing. But I want to tell you today, if I can, what the community perspective of you as our volunteers are. Firstly, the community really appreciates the fact that when you spend so much time in training, so much time in development, so much time in gear maintenance and administration, let alone the times when you get onto the truck to take your life in your hands in some form of emergency, that you do it with no regard of little or no cost to yourselves. Because if you were to account the cost, if that was a priority with you, we would not be protected. We thank you for that. As far as the Dad's Army comment is concerned, let me simply say that the community is fully aware that if we did not have a minister and bureaucrats, we did not have a commissioner and an RFS service and big headquarters at Homebush, that motor vehicle accidents would still be attended, emergencies would be responded to and fires would be fought. We did not have councils with councillors, senior bureaucrats and all of the other that goes with that. Emergencies would be attended, motor vehicle accidents would be responded to, fires would be fought. If we did not have you, the volunteers, emergencies would turn into catastrophes. More people would die on the roads than are dying now. And as 2013 proved, villages like Andorra and towns like Bargo would be incinerated off the face of the earth and many people would be killed. I was disappointed that the one person who should have stood behind you and had your backs and supported you throughout the whole of the process, throughout the whole of the battle, simply made the comment that you could have had the station years ago if you'd settled for a second-rate site. I believe this is a first-rate facility. I believe it is on the best available site. It is not one iota more than you deserve. And in fact, it is not anything near what we would like to give to you. We would never attempt to repay you for what you've given to us. It's a debt we'll never be able to cover. But we do hope that this new shed, that this new facility will give you some token of the esteem and the appreciation that you, the volunteers, are held in as you protect us and as you serve us. Can I simply say this to finish, as I'm sure you'd like me to misquote great wartime leader Sir Winston Churchill, with apologies. Never in the field of human endeavour so many people being stuffed up for so long by so few.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, mate. And you can see the passion, and that's the level of passion he took when he certainly come and spoke to me. What I'd like to say in response to that is now's the time for moving on. Whether we're white shirts, yellow shirts, politicians, whatever, I think we, as a community, we need to move on and do what's really important, and that's continue to do the important work that you do. And one last thing before I sit down, if you're a member of the brigade, can you please stand up? And I think the rest of us in the community should thank them for their service. Thank you.
I'd like to now call upon Minister Angus Taylor.
Thanks, Martin. And I'll keep my acknowledgements brief because I've been through them all, but it's great to be here with my colleagues. Ralph, Judy Hammond, Robert Kahn, Blair. There was another councillor who's here. Oh, Matt, wherever you are. There you are, Matt. Great to see you guys all here, but most of all, Ray, you are absolutely right. The people who should be acknowledged here, heads in this story, that's how I remember. I always taught the story as a kid. Are in fact the brigade members in the community, because this has been an extraordinary story. Like Jai actually, when in 2012, when I was the candidate, first the candidate here. I think it was Greg and Ray got in touch with me and said, look, this is a very important project for Bargo. We then had the saga with the culvert and the water with the ARTC. In the end, I had to personally ring John Fulton, who's the Chief Executive of the ARTC, a number of times to get that resolved. But I've got to tell you that for me, this is a victory of the community. It is an example of how when a community decides that it's not going to give up, it wins. It beats bureaucracy. And that is a tribute to every one of you. One of the areas in my portfolio is emergency management. And that means I get to many of the big fires around Australia for providing disaster relief from the federal government. For example, I was at Cobden in Victoria a couple of months back, Harthra, which many of you would have seen on the telly here in New South Wales at about the same time. And each one of these fires I go to, I hear exactly the same thing. It's this extraordinarily similar message, which is, it was a miracle that we saved all these houses and there were no deaths and that we achieved what we achieved. And I've come to realise that it wasn't a miracle at all. They actually have that bit wrong. It's not a miracle. It's actually volunteers like you, community members like you, getting out there, looking after their mates, looking after their neighbours, that achieves this miracle, not once, not twice, but every time we have a fire going through our communities. As the newly minted member here in 2013, again, Jai will remember this well. Of course, we were here together. I saw the fires come through here very early in the season. It was only a month or two after the federal election, actually. And I was new, so I sort of didn't quite know what was going on. But I saw again the incredible work of this brigade, one which travels. And I see you guys, I think there was some of you at the Bannerby Fire. There were a few of you at the Bannerby Fire. I'm trying to remember whether you were here there or not, but I think a couple of you got up there. You travel around the region and just deliver extraordinary outcomes again and again. It is not a miracle. So congratulations, Ray. I know you sweated blood over this one. I really do. We spoke about it, I don't know how many times. And I do congratulate you for what you said and what you've achieved, but also every one of you for an extraordinary achievement. It's a great shed. Jai's right, we should celebrate it and look forward. We can all learn from the mistakes in the past, and now, today, is about celebrating this amazing achievement. Well done, everybody.
Councillor Judith and Mayor, I was volunteering.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to acknowledge, likewise, those that are most important here today, and that's brigade members, because this is your day. I will also acknowledge our members of Parliament, and most importantly to me, I have 3 councillors there. I have Councillor Blair Griggs, Councillor Robert Kahn, and Councillor Matt Gould. I have my General Manager, and there's some staff here as well. I also thank you, Martin, for having us here, and your dignitaries. It's really important to come out and celebrate this with us. The second last time I saw Martin, he was at a function like this and got notified by his wife that his backyard was literally on fire. So it affects all of us. I think that's something we all need to know, that fires and the request and need for emergency service can affect any of us. Well, it has taken a long time. There is no question of that. But I remember being at your last AGM, Bargo, and I remember the words we spoke then. And I said, I will not be back at another AGM at this shed. I don't know if any of you can remember that. Well, luckily for us, it's not yet. And on Sunday week, I'll be very glad to be here with you for your AGM in your new shed. It's certainly taken a lot of work, and yes, we've talked about the fact that we needed to negotiate state and federal, and I know how many times Jai and Angus had their doors knocked on and requests, and yes, there were the contamination and the subdivision and the builder and all the approvals. But you know what, we have got a fantastic shed here at this point in time. We know that your previous shed was not up to standard as we would have liked it, and that's why the community is behind, backing, supporting of whatever requirement of money is for all of this to come to fruition today. Many people have been involved in this project, as we all know. We've had staff involved in it, and I thank them. We've had community involved in it. We've had politicians involved in it, ex-councillors, councillors. I recognise all of you and all the work that goes into this shed today. Congratulations. I guess that's the biggest thing I can say, and not only thank you for what work you've done up to this point in time, but I suspect we'll be thanking you for very many events for the future. It'd be nice not to have events for the future, but as you all know, your work will continue. And I'd just like to thank you all for all you do now and all you will do in the future. So thank you, and let's enjoy this new shed.
Now I'd like to call upon Senior Assistant Commissioner Bruce McDonald.
Thanks and good afternoon, folks. I'd like to acknowledge Jai, Angus, Judith and her team, the whole team, the councillors, the managers, the brigade leadership team, members of the community and members of the brigade. It really is a fantastic thing to look out and see the mixture of community, past brigade people, existing brigade people, and to understand that we're standing here in this building after such a long period of time. I do recall walking the doors of Parliament with Mike, with Greenie, and that was a long time ago. I don't know when it was, but it was a long time ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And I hear the words that Ray said about layers of bureaucracy. But those layers of bureaucracy were the people who were knocking on their doors and we couldn't get things done. And they came and they stood with us and helped us through the ARPC drainage issue. Who knew you couldn't drain into a rail corridor off a block like this? Well, you can't, and Angus worked that out. There's been a lot of commitment from a lot of people. That doesn't take anything away from the brigade. Wherever you go, the RFS is really part of the community. It's embedded in the community, it's delivering service to the community, and it's drawing its resources from the community. And it's a fabulous organisation. Bargo Brigade has probably been all over, I don't know, I don't have the specifics, but all over fighting the fires. We've heard other people talk about it. Cross-border, across New South Wales. And where else could you ask a group of people to give up their time and travel 400 or 500 k's and sleep in a cot for 4 or 5 days to help the rest of the community? Not their community, but communities farther afield. And for that, you should be congratulated. It has been difficult to get here, but we're here. And what a magnificent structure this is. I'm really pleased and honoured to be invited today to talk to you. And I look forward to catching up with you afterwards. And I congratulate Bargo Brigade on the shed station. Shed and station to me are interdispersible. Some people call them a station, some people call them a shed. Old firefighters call them a shed, and I'm an old firefighter, so that's how I describe it. Congratulations, and we look forward to catching up. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll now move to the official opening, the cutting of the ribbon, which is a photo opportunity for everybody. No, we're going to open the doors today. We're going to open the doors. As soon as we've done that, I'll ask you all to be seated again, and Brian will come up So I'd like to invite Bruce McDonald, Judith Hannon and Guy to take the scissors, the official scissors. Brian and Greg, if you want to come up.
Are we going inside or out? Outside. The boss was big today, and I did say he was an insurer. He did some openings yesterday in a place called Food Area, which is in the lower west of one of the borders of Victoria, the other one's South Australia. To get back, he had to do the jury to Melbourne and Melbourne to Sydney. He had to do that in the jury. So, but he did ask that I hand you a plaque to acknowledge the opening. And congratulate you. And there's a flag somewhere too, isn't there? Oh yeah, there's that tricycle flag.
So also the Minister, Troy Grant, can be here today. He's at other events. He's asked to pass on a flag plate. I think it's go with it. Thank you very
I now invite Brian, President of the Bargo Brigade, to respond on behalf of the brigade. Yeah. word for our first fundraiser, automatic door closers. Bear with me, I'm not accustomed to public speaking. My father was, but it's too long ago. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Bargo Volunteer Rural Fire Brigade, I'd like to welcome everyone to our new community fire station or shed. Thank you to our distinguished guests for their attendance today. I won't go through everybody because everybody's already said that. I'll keep it short enough. Of course, I was going to mention about Bruce being at that original meeting that we had at Parliament House. You've already brushed over that, that's all good. Very important thank you to all our life members that have travelled from near and far to be with us here today. We've even got one member coming from Queensland, Bryce Fairley. Thank you very much all the life members for attending today. Without your efforts earlier in the brigade's history, this brigade wouldn't be a well-oiled, efficient group that we are today. So thank you very much for your efforts and part. Big thank you to former Councillor Ray Law. Good on your jolly, you stole that thunder. Once again, Ray, anytime we had any problems when you're on council, you were our champion the whole time. So here I am. Right, welcome to the point. Thank you very much, Ray, on behalf of all the brigade and the community. On the community, the Bargo Progress Association were our champions as well, campaigning, trying to get things happening behind the scenes, and many other people in the local community, so thank you for your efforts. There's one group of people that haven't been thanked here today, and special mention must go to two wonderful former Bargo residents, Mr. Bob and Mrs. Betty Brown. Now, they sadly aren't being able to be with us here today because they've both passed away, but after Betty's passing, the brigade has generously donated a large amount of money. The first thing the brigade did was to buy a PC, or a Toyota Hilux vehicle for the brigade. That was one of Bob's wishes. The other one of Bob's wishes was to put something back into the brigade. So we said, well, we're looking at trying to get a new station, and once we get that new station, we're going to put some funds into that station. So that was a 50 grand that people have been talking about. That's come from that family. So unfortunately, their boys, Tony and Roy, weren't able to be here today, so they've sent their apologies and all their best wishes. They're planning on calling in to send the station. They live up in Sydney and they've got other things on today. So with that $50,000, originally we were supposed to be getting a 3-bay station, right, Martin? So that enabled us to put that money towards the extra bay. So that's why we've got the bigger station for the future. So that's all worked out fine for us. And okay, the next little thing I want to do, while we're on awards, I'd like to ask Mike Mola to come forward, please. As some people may know, Mike has been a member of the brigade for more than 25 years, I'm not sure how many, nearly 30. More than 20 years he was secretary of the brigade. He recently retired from his real job as a project manager in the Department of Public Works, or whatever they were called when they finished. Yep. He's built a new home over in Grasmere, and he left our wonderful Kingo. Although he still remains a member here, and he's a member at Camden West Brigade now. We realised that this expertise was possibly available, so we went to work, and Ray Law said, I think we went and saw you, Lee, didn't we? About putting a project manager on. And Michael Malone, yeah, yep. So we were eventually able to entice Mike to put his hand up for the job. He said, I've just retired and I've got to get my house finished, and yeah, Mike, we really need it. Okay, so Mike signed up for the project manager of the fire station. And that was to build the fire station, but he also assisted big time in the acquisition of the land, cutting through all the red tape and all the issues that have been mentioned here today. So there's too much to mention about the other issues. All good, we're here now. Well done to you, Mike, you did it. Thank you very much. And Mike did this with the help of a great building company, Lynch Building Group. Like Anna got to look around the place to see the finish on the building is fantastic. So thank you very much to Scotty. I think Scotty's here, and Anthony. Thank you. Great job. Anytime we wanted to come in and do if we had an idea about where we're going to hang something in the training or something like that, they'd put something in on the wall, so later on when we're ready to hang something up, everything is all sorted. Just all the little things around the place, they couldn't be more helpful. Fantastic job, guys. It was finished on time, like the station. As extended. Except for the sewage connection, which was completely out of everybody's control, except for a few that aren't here and we didn't want to invite them to anyway. Well, that's right. So Mike, please accept this small token on the brigade's behalf in appreciation of most professional job we've done. This is because you did it on time.
I wasn't expecting this, but as everybody has always said, it was a very challenging project. As I've mentioned before, we looked at, as a brigade, identifying the parcel of land in late 2009. When a lot of the discussions started with Ashley and then they've continued from there. There's a lot of work that's been put in by everyone, not just me, so I'd just like to thank everybody for their contributions towards it, and also I have to acknowledge the Lynch Building Group. They've done a very good job. By comparison with a lot of other builders that I've worked with, yeah, they're right up there. So, yeah, and thanks very much for the brigade too. Yeah.
I might be stealing some of Martin's thunder here, I'm not sure, but after the proceedings, the Picton Fire Control Centre will be providing sausage sandwiches and drinks. And our brigade have also chipped in and we're providing a variety of sandwiches and cakes and things as well. So everybody enjoy after the official proceedings. Thank you. Thanks, Brian. So that brings us to the end of the formal proceedings this afternoon. Everybody who has been here has mentioned that it has been a very long, arduous journey. There's been a lot of people involved, a lot of great work that has gone on. I commend the brigade on your gumption to continue to fight and get the station built. I look forward to paging you with monotony out of it. I want to thank the council, just on behalf of Southern Highlands team, for your unwavering support of the Rural Fire Service and everything we do. I will say that I generally advise the councils, and as I do all you, when we do something big. We sent 250 odd people across to Sutherland a couple of weeks ago. I often copy the council in on those type of emails, and Luke is always very quick to respond and pass on his thanks and congratulations. So we do have a large support from the council, and we do appreciate it. I've just been asked, there are some formal photos which the photographer over here would like to take of the dignitaries over here, so before you go over, can you please? And I would then invite the brigade to come over and have a good group photo as well. Thank you all very much. Please enjoy the new facilities and have a great afternoon. Thank you. Thank you.